Am I wrong for high-fiving a stranger who humiliated my boyfriend? My boyfriend and I go to the climbing gym regularly. He is really into it, and I just started climbing a few times a week. He's stupidly competitive about it and quietly insults beginners who are not as good, which makes me feel self-conscious because I'm a beginner. Last night, we were at the climbing gym again, and he was doing a V6. There was about 6 people taking turns on the problem, probably because it's a newly installed route and they were all failing. Then a girl came and flashed it. She made it so easy, but at the end, she didn't hold the final hold for 5 seconds, and my boyfriend called her out after she was done. Holding the last hold for 5 seconds is supposed to be the right way of finishing a route, but she was doing it so easily, she definitely could have. I think he was just being salty because she didn't when he couldn't. I gave her a high five because she was walking towards me and did amazing at the problem and knocked my boyfriend off his high horse, and she was surprised but high fived me back. My boyfriend turned to me and gave me a what the fuck look and wouldn't talk to me the rest of the night. When we were heading home, he ranted that I couldn't be trusted to watch his back if I chose to take a stranger's side over him. I was shocked that's what he took from the climb and told him he shouldn't have nitpicked her when she clearly climbed it correctly, and he got mad and argued I was supposed to take his side over people I don't even know. If he gets this upset over something as simple as this, I don't even want to picture how he is when shit really hits the fan, so you might want to reconsider your relationship. But again, we don't know a lot. We're just taking what you're giving us. So, what a baby. I, 22 male, broke up with my girlfriend, 21 female, over her body count. Just as the title says, a couple of months ago, me and my girlfriend, now ex of 5 months, were talking at a party and we were both a bit drunk, and she started asking me about my past. She knew I was only in one relationship before her, but she was also really interested in my sexual history, so I jokingly agreed to answer anything as long as she did the same. Oh, you don't ask. This is why you don't ask these questions. This is why you don't ask these questions. Danger, danger, danger. Now, I've only slept with 3 people in my life, including her, and I knew that she had only been in one serious relationship before me, so I expected her answer to be about the same. But she admitted that she had slept with 24 people before me. I thought she was joking, but she explained in greater detail, and it was clear she was 100% serious. At that point, I wasn't in the mood for any more partying, so I headed home for the night. 24 bodies at 21? That's wild. Wild. I couldn't sleep thinking about it, and I can't really explain why it bothers me so much, but I knew this was something I wasn't getting over, so when she woke up, I went to her apartment and broke up with her. She started breaking down and asking me to explain why. I really didn't want to tell her, but she kept asking for an explanation, and I thought it would be unfair not to tell her, so I told her, and she started breaking down even more and apologizing to me, which made me feel super guilty. I kept telling her she didn't have to apologize to me as she didn't do anything wrong, and she asked me why I was breaking up with her then, and I honestly didn't know what to answer. Eventually, she calmed down and I headed home, but she's been bombarding me with messages, still apologizing me and telling me that if she could turn back time, she would have never touched any of those guys and that she regrets it. I believe I'm justified in leaving her since I know that this isn't something I can get over and that I'll never see her the same, but I still feel super guilty about it all, especially since I can't really explain why it bothers me so much. I wish I didn't care about it at all, so we could have just kept being happy together, but 25 people? I just don't know what to do. I feel really guilty for feeling this way, and even more because I know she's suffering for something she can't change now. I'm also checking in on her to make sure she's okay and trying to comfort her the best I can, but now I'm thinking that maybe it's cruel of me to do that because it'll make it harder for her on the long run, and that maybe it's better for her if I stay more distant. I am at a loss as to what to do or if it was fair for me to break up with her over this. I just wanted to rant about my situation somewhere since I don't really have anyone else to talk about this, and this is all I could think of. Any input is appreciated. Okay, he does have an edit. He goes, seems important to mention that she, me, and the people around us come from a religious background and that we date to marry. This isn't an assumption. We had the intentions of growing old together. A lot of people are asking why I didn't ask this before. This is because it is seen as rude to ask about things you've done that include other people. Losing feelings waiting for him to come back. My husband and I decided 6 months ago that he would not take a job in a different city, but less than a week after that, he informed me he was taking it. That meant he'd be working in another city 4.5 hours away in a different state, 5 days a week, while I worked full time and would be responsible for taking care of our 6-month-old and 2-year-old by myself during the week. For context, we talked over and over before we got married about how I wanted a partner who would be 50-50 with me if we had kids. So, not only did he disregard our joint conversation, he was also going back on our vows and abandoning me with 2 young children. That's how I see it. Anyway, I went into survival mode. I have lost a noticeable amount of weight due to stress, and I even had suicidal thoughts for a bit because my world crumbled when he left. Everything I thought I knew was changing, and I didn't know how to handle anything. Fast forward 6 months to now, I'm no longer feeling depressed or in complete survival mode. I finally felt comfortable asking my parents for help. They retired and moved down to my city to be closer to the grandkids, but they raised me to not rely on them, so it's been hard to ask instead of waiting for them to volunteer. Yes, more therapy, I know. And I've been able to take a few work trips and one personal trip to clear my head and gather my thoughts and actually have time to think things through. Unfortunately, I'm thinking I'm moving on from my husband. I gave him until March 2024 to find a realistic way to get back to our city full time. But now I feel like I'm in a holding pattern and can't move forward because I'm waiting on yet another decision from him. And I can feel me losing love and attachment to him over time. I don't think I'll want to be his wife by next March, and I don't know what to do about that. I'm so tired by the end of the week and have work I need to catch up on due to focusing on my girls during the week that when my husband is here on weekends, I use that time for him to bond with the kids and I work. I'm so tired that I am in bed by 8:30 while he likes to stay up late. Then I'm up early with the girls while he sleeps. My oldest has been sleeping in bed with me ever since her daddy left. Even when we get her to fall asleep in her own bed, she wakes up crying and comes to find me. So my husband and I don't even sleep together when he is home. I don't know if my feelings will last for him through next year, and I'm scared what that means for me and my family. Couples therapy, couples therapy, couples therapy. Am I wrong for refusing to take my daughter to my ex-husband's wedding? My 42 female, ex-husband 45 male and I were together for 20 years. We had a beautiful daughter together, Jocelyn 14 female. We got a divorce 5 years ago due to infidelity on his part. I was devastated. He was the love of my life and he betrayed all of the trust and loyalty we had built up. To make matters worse, he ended up in a relationship with the woman he cheated on me with. They got engaged 1 year later and are set to be married in 2 weeks. Honestly, I still am heartbroken over my divorce. It's hurtful to me that we were together for 20 years and he could just go fall in love with someone else as if I was nothing. However, Jocelyn was only 9 when we divorced and he's a great father, so I would never want to come in between their bond. Jocelyn loves his fiance and she's very sweet to her, but she doesn't know the reason why her dad and I divorced. I want to tell her when she's a bit older and he doesn't want to tell her at all. Duh, of course he doesn't. Anyways, I compromised with him that Jocelyn could come to the wedding, but that he would have to provide the transportation to and from the wedding, as I want no part of it. I don't want to drop my daughter off at his wedding. I don't want to see all the decorations and the happy guests. It'd just be too much for me. I didn't tell him all of that obviously, but he agreed. Today he calls me and says if he can ask for a huge favor. It turns out that his future in-laws are flying in the morning of the wedding and he has to go pick them up. Therefore, he can't pick up my daughter the day of and wanted to ask if I could take her. I said absolutely not and asked why he can't pick her up the day before when she gets off of school. He said he doesn't want to make the drive twice and that he will likely not have time as he has to prepare for the rehearsal dinner. I asked why can't the bride pick up her parents? He said she'll be getting her hair done and won't be able to. I laughed and told him there was no way I'd take my daughter and he'd have to figure it out. Boy, why did I say that? My daughter ran downstairs crying, face beet red 10 minutes after my conversation with her dad, calling me terrible and accusing me of not wanting her to spend time with her dad. I told her that's not the case and she demanded to know why I couldn't take her. I couldn't give her an answer and she ran upstairs crying. Now I'm getting messages from his family calling me heartless and cold and a bitch for trying to ruin his special day over a relationship that is long over. I'm sorry, look at all these people messaging you. They can pick her up, right? Hello, problem solved. But they won't. My family understands my point of view, but I feel terrible that I've upset my daughter. I don't know what to do. Am I the asshole? Should I just put aside my feelings and take her?